This is Mia from the US. Can we get a round of applause?
Come on. Right, sit there. Hi, Mia. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, of course.
So if you could just quickly introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about what you're here to tell.
Okay, so I'm Mia. I'm from the United States. So in the early 1900s, my great-grandmother moved to America as an immigrant to escape the Armenian genocide. She moved her whole entire family to the United States, and they lived in poverty for many years. My grandfather from there in the 1970s founded a company, and he devoted his whole entire life to it. From there, he grew a very successful franchise. Now, fast forward to 2008, I was in the second grade, and I had just received my first communion. My godparents gave me their gift. They placed this big box in my lap, and in my head, I was like, well, this is awesome, like big box, big gift. And I opened it up, and inside was a framed piece of paper and a pamphlet for an orphanage in Haiti. It took me a minute, but they explained to me that the gift that they were giving me, it couldn't be touched, it couldn't be played with, and it couldn't be listened to. It had none of the exciting characteristics that a kid would want in a toy. But it could only be appreciated if I had chosen to act on it. So I did. And when I was 13, I went on my first trip to Haiti, and I visited an orphanage. And I immediately found there that life wasn't a matter of living as much as it is a matter of surviving. I was exposed to people who were suffering from extremities of dehydration and hunger. And it was on this first trip that I sat at a spelling bee for about 8 hours in 100-degree weather, and I didn't understand a word of what was going on. I was just kind of like sitting there and tapping my foot. But the whole time, I held one of our children who's handicapped. She has CP on our lap, and she can't speak. And she taught me that you don't need words to be able to communicate with another person. A kid, no matter their circumstance, just wants to be held and loved and played with. And they can still feel that beyond communication through words. Thank you. Now, it took me a few trips to be able to connect with the teenagers at our orphanage. Most of them are very close in age to me, and as I've gone back, they've grown with me. And I would always try to play with them and kind of joke with them, but they'd always roll their eyes and walk away like any teenager would. But one night, I stayed up a little bit later with them than I normally would have, and I almost immediately connected with them. I realized that they didn't want to play and they didn't want their photo taken like the kids did. They wanted a solid connection with somebody that they knew was going to be back to see them again. They taught me that people want a consistent relationship. It's necessary to have consistency to maintain relationships. Every single time I go back, right before I leave, this one boy, Mackenzie, asks me, when am I going to see you again? And I can't imagine a day that I have to sit there and look at him and say, I don't know, or I might not be coming back. After my third trip, I was at summer camp. I was at a YMCA summer camp, and I was talking to my friends just about my trip and my experiences. And I was sitting there, and I started bawling my eyes out, like uncontrollably. I had no idea what this emotion was, but once I thought about it and figured it out, I realized that this was a compassion that I was feeling, an empathy for these people that I had met. And I'd never conversed with them fully. I've never spent more than a few weeks with them at a time, but I could still feel this longing to be with them and be there for them. So now I'm 18. I can think back, connect, and reflect on all these moments in my life. And Haiti has instilled in me this compassion and this drive that I want to lean into to share in any way that I can. I look back at my great-grandmother who helped my family survive, and I look back at my grandfather who's helped my family thrive, and how those moments in their life were gifts to me because I can take their success and their stories and use this love that I have and this privilege that they've given me to share this compassion that I can't help it. So this opportunity to connect with another culture and grow my own understanding of why I'm here, what the purpose of my life is, I look at my family's history and I recognize that I'm able to take their hard work and share myself and my love in ways that they might have not had a chance to. and I continue to set the examples of how to love within and beyond your own communities. Thank you.